Welcome to Canada South. I'm just going to get my presentation on here. Hopefully it's here somewhere soon. Okay, I saw a name there. That must be it. And with luck, it will load up properly. I can go into a view slideshow and full screen mode, and that should hopefully do things. Okay. So I'm presenting some work here, doing with some colleagues at the School of Computing Science, where I'm a professor. I'm also the director of the Vancouver Institute for Visual Analytics, and we've put together a cross-Canadian network in the area of visual analytics, which involves, right now I think it's 8 Canadian universities, and if you're not one of those universities yet, come talk to me afterwards. We'll add you in for Canadian universities. For taking over into the States, come talk to me as well. We have a way of doing that too. So. What we have, in order to frame my short presentation today, I thought I would put it in terms of these questions. I'll come back to these questions at the end. These were the organizers said, keep these questions in mind as you're putting your presentation together. We're dealing with the education for employable graduates, and these are the critical questions. So I'll be coming back to them there, and it's great that we'll be able to have access to all these slides afterwards, because I must say that seeing what everybody has been taking a look at, the information relating to the skills people require, and that it'll be nice to see how things compare. And if I had to put it into context, I think, because again, dealing with Canadian unicorns or whatever, or people in unicorn costumes and how many people you need to put into a unicorn costume, I tend to be more practical here and realize that really, I think what it can boil down to is there's different breeds of horses we can do to do the different work. We don't need the unicorns. That's probably just for marketing, and you can use paint and put something else on the animal. But really, we're trying. If you take a look at all the skills that we've been talking about, all the jobs out there, it's enough to fuel a whole economy, right? So and from what I've seen from different presentations so far, and from the work that we're doing at Simon Fraser University, is taking a look at what are the different aspects that you can focus on for giving somebody training, either at a certificate level, at an undergraduate degree level, or at a graduate degree level. I know my colleagues at Dalhousie University last year, they were talking about some of the work that they were doing at the undergraduate level, and they have now put together a graduate certificate in big text, or in the process of doing that. They're working with us and the Université de Montréal to keep students moving across the country. But our goal with our professional masters was to train computational specialists who can construct models, develop algorithms, and write software. Okay, so there's the key things there. To extract actionable knowledge from big data. So you can imagine with a committee of people how long it took to come up with that sentence there. So that's where most of our effort was spent there. So what we have then, we put together, we are in the first cohort right now. The students started, actually we only got this approved in January. We had to have any intake, make offers, I think it was by April 1st. So we had very little time to publicize it. We had a huge number of applicants. And we ended up, so it's targeted at students who have completed undergraduate studies in an information technology or scientific field, including professionals. So of our current cohort of, well, we ended up making 24 offers. That was the size of the basic number of seats we have in the lab. We should have made a few more offers, but we ended up, 21 ended up coming. And a lot of these were, I think 18 of the 21 were international students. About 2 were from non-computing backgrounds, but they had like a closely related background, could have been math or stats. And about 2 or 3 were what I would call mature students as well. So we weren't too sure what kind of people would end up applying. And given we had such little time to promote it, we are very glad to have and from seeing the cohort, it is a strong cohort. It'll be very interesting to see next year how competitive it's going to be to get into it. Key thing about it, it is a full master's degree, 16 months, so 4 semesters. We have 13-week semesters of courses, of lectures, plus if there's an exam in the course and that. So they do have, this is where we're trying to deal with some of the different, what you view as that foundational issue, like the in Pasteur's, the different, actually we tend up covering all the quadrants there. Where you have the foundational work, the specialized lab work is where you really start applying the practical knowledge and dealing with practical problems and real data. So what we have then is a lot of the, we do have that foundational work, but with the specialized lab, people are actually able to work in a much more tutor-based environment and also interact with students, dealing more with some of the social aspects of getting together, solving problems with people from different backgrounds. But we couldn't do everything we wanted to in this program, although we did include a co-op so that they get that practical work experience. And we'll have to have some chats with our IBM colleagues and their partner organizations, because it'll be next May that these students will be going out on their co-op term. So they're starting in January. They're going to start looking for which companies they want to be in. And really, as people have been saying, many companies do end up coming to us because they want to get access to these kind of students. I won't go into that, because you'll have access to these slides and hopefully the position paper afterward, you'll be able to take a look in terms of the different following slides, in terms of the actual content covered. But I wanted to summarize it in 5 areas, and basically the first 4 areas are all part of the core, and then the visualization and natural language processing, a few other optional things even outside of computing science are like for an optional 5th area. So you can see it is very much a computing science oriented master's degree, and with the key aspects of it also including visualization there. So like I said, these different areas covered, you'll be able to take a look at those afterwards. And the key thing for having the kind of platform where people can do the kind of work they need to do, this is where we have, with our partnership with the school, having its partnership with the Institute for Visual Analytics, has access to a wide range of software from a range of different companies. So all those logos we saw on the screen just a moment ago, if we don't have that software there, it'll be there soon. But really, it's the students don't have the time to. We have more software than they have the time to dive into. So it's really going to be interesting to see which one, when they're out on their co-op term, what is going to be the thing that they're going to end up doing in that. So that's still to be seen. So we have, again, it's being very much a computing science-oriented background. One thing I also wanted to put up here on the slides was just how this fits in with, because we've seen different prices depending on what country, where things are being offered in that. So right now, the program, if you could, roughly today's US dollars, is $23,000 for the 16-month program. If you're a Canadian student, $28,000 if you're an international student. And that was itself, that's probably where, aside from crafting that first sentence to say, paragraph to say what the program was about, this was the thing that took the most crafting to figure out how to structure it with the university's provincial government guidelines relating to tuition, university requirements, resources needed to fund the program, and the way that we were able to do it, in case any people have to do similar things out there. We used some existing courses for which it was existing tuition rates, but the specialized lab courses, we could charge higher tuition rates for those courses. So that was the way that we managed to pull it off so that we could afford to put on the program. And also with respect to this course, it is in the context of, it is not a distance education or so a remote course. People do have to move to Vancouver for the 4 semesters for taking on the course. So to summarize here, in terms of the definitions of training, education, and employability, we're focused on graduate training, so it is a master's degree on core technical technology and hands-on application to real-world problems. So that's how I would say we're defining what we're doing there. And we're dealing with that employability issues in terms of this, not only through the co-op aspect of it, but the work that is done in the lab with working in groups and along with the tutor there. And what we are going to be doing is, after each cohort, we are going to clearly evaluate the program, because this was just the first year it's being offered. But we are already looking after each semester how we might want to reevaluate some things. What we did do, though, in terms of determining those courses, we did do a bit of our own market research in terms of figuring out what were some of the, it would have been great to have had all these slides, like 2 years ago, at the speed of what the universities work like, so it's, I was formerly a acting dean, associate dean, so it was just, fun times there. But we did get some input there. More work needs to be done there. Now, seriously, now that we have this great community together, we can really take a look at what kind of horse or painted horse, or maybe it's what kind of pony are we putting out there in the market and that, or is more of this one-way heavy horses for more of the workhorse of the underlying IT. We are using traditional classroom plus tutorial-based labs, so it is not, we're not, like I said, not gone to the online process, so it's still, we didn't have the resources to be able to do everything. We found what we feel is our niche, where there's enough of a critical mass in our area so that we can offer this. And what have we learned so far from our experience, other than it being a work in progress? We were very surprised at, given the low amount of publicity we had, how good we were at attracting high-quality applicants. And it is going to be a challenge next year to choose amongst the applicants, because it's not just GPA that's going to, because that's not the best, maybe if we were doing some predictive things here, in terms of that, so we don't want to do it just on GPA. So next year, that's going to be really the challenge. So if you want more information, just so you know, person to contact, it's actually Anup Sarkar is he's overseeing the program right now. I'm sort of in support because I'm with the director of the Visual Analytics Institute, and Sasha will be taking over. You saw her name on the first slide in January, so I'll still be there for the continuity. So thank you very much.